All right, in today's Money Watch, we are talking about saving for the future and retirement. A new survey from Charles Schwab reveals that Americans believe it takes more than $800,000 to be financially comfortable. It also shows about 1/3 of Americans do not have any type of financial plan. But don't worry, we've got you covered. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here.
Nate?
Jill is here. Dollar Jill here is to break it all down. All right, so let's jump right into it. Why do you want to reframe the conversation about retirement? And what does that mean exactly?
Well, because when I went through the last, say, 20 to 30 years giving people financial advice, first as a business owner and then as a podcast host and here on TV, what I hear from people is, I'm not that interested in retiring, but I am interested in understanding when I can have more control over my life. I think it's a little bit of an outdated notion that everybody works till a certain date and we're done.
Yes.
It's that people want control over their lives. So it is a bit more like financial independence and how we can help people find a better way to keep working longer and be happier in their positions. And it doesn't work for everyone. I get it. But if we can give people just a modicum of control, they will approach their financial lives in a much better way.
Okay, let's do the modicum of control. If you haven't even started to plan, when should you start? Is there an age you should start? Is there a peace of mind you should start?
Right now,
Right now?
whoever you are, you're 20, you're 50, you're 60, and you're still working and you never run the numbers, here's where we start.
20s?
Yes, absolutely. Because I think younger people understand. They've seen their parents and grandparents go through hard times. They know. So you start not with a rule of thumb, because that's kind of lazy.
Yeah.
You go to a retirement calculator online. When you do that, there's going to be some information you need. The biggest piece of information, how much money do you spend right now? If you don't know that piece of information, you cannot possibly do this. So it's your basics, it's your fun stuff. If you're a little bit older, maybe it's ongoing obligations. You've got aging parents you've got to take care of. You've got adult children. Now you know this is the expense number that I am trying to find. Once you have that, you are ready to start looking at the future. And the calculations will take into account how much you make now, how much money you're saving, how much money your company is matching, all those pieces. And it will give you a number that you can replicate where you say, when I get to a certain age, I will be able to create that much income in the future for myself. And don't forget, we're living longer. So if you are over the age of 40, you're going to still live till 90, 95.
Yeah.
And if you're under the age of 40, you might live till 100. We have to make sure people understand that the longer that life lasts, the more money we need to save right now.
So you're right. People should think about it in their 20s. When I met Katie in my early 30s, and she'd been saving since her early 20s, and her 401k, I thought it was the sexiest thing ever. I was like, wow, the responsible person. We're going places together. But tell us about those retirement accounts, like 401ks, other options. What should people know about them?
Well, I think the first thing that you need to know is use them. What we understand from a lot of the data is that people say, oh, I can't save. But when they're automatically enrolled in a 401k or a 403b, they do save money, even when you don't make that much. So you want to automate it. So 401ks, if you start with a little bit, maybe just up to your company match or a couple of percentage points that you can put away, you can put up to $23,500. Most people are not doing that. More if you're over the age of 50, and if you're 60 to 63, there's a special little bonus you can put in. But the best way to do it is to automate it, and then slowly but surely, 1 percentage point a year or every 6 months, that's what you do. If you don't have a plan at work, you can start an IRA or a Roth IRA. The same idea applies. A little bit at a time. Maybe it's $100 a month. You may never get to $7,000 a year for a couple of years. It's okay.
Well, you're throwing around a lot of numbers, Jill. Do the calculations, do it here. What if you do all that and the math ain't mathin'?
I love it. That is exactly the right question.
What do you do?
Here's where you have some control. Those numbers, that's your baseline. You may want to fiddle with the numbers. Hey, what would happen if I saved a little bit more money today?
Right.
Hey, what would happen if I worked a little bit longer?
Cut back on this or that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And one thing
Spent
to
a little
really
less.
consider, during the pandemic, when I hosted the podcast at Jill on Money, we heard from people who are like, I'm fried, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
And what we found is people needed an off-ramp. So what we really started to do is look at people and say, what if you would make less money for a few years, but you could then keep working.
Yeah.
That is a great idea. An off-ramp is brilliant.
Jill, you're the best.
Home Depot is my off-ramp. I'll be helping you find the flashlights.
Wherever you
There
need.
go. Jill, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll be right back.
In today's Money Watch, when it comes to retiring, how much money do you really need in the bank? The latest retirement confidence survey finds 67% of workers and 78% of retirees are confident they will have enough cash to live comfortably through retirement.
good.
Yeah, that is good. But before you can call it quits at work, you need to set yourself up for success. And who do we call in when we need a little setting up
Jill
for success?
Schlesinger.
Jill Schlesinger, ladies and gentlemen. She is here with tips to make sure that you've got all your bases covered. Jill, so a lot of people think that they're all set. What is the difference, if there is, between what Americans think they need and what they actually need?
Well, first of all, it's very funny when I hear a stat like that because I wonder how many of these people have actually run their numbers. So we do have some data that show that people think they need $800,000 in order to be able to retire comfortably, which is completely arbitrary, gang. I don't know whether you need $1 million or $5 million or $1 because you have a great pension. And in that same survey by Charles Schwab, what was fascinating is a third of the people have no plan. So I need the money.
Like retirement plan?
I have no plan. I don't know what I'm doing. And so this is why we make numbers up. People will sometimes say to me like, oh, I heard you need $1 million to retire. Again, it depends on your unique circumstances.
Right. People have future potential to take in money like Social Security if they fix it and it continues to operate and all the rest. How do they factor that into their decision?
You know, a lot of young people will ask me, should I count on Social Security? And the answer is, yes, you should. See, I'm looking at the camera, so you know that.
Oh, good.
The reason is, I think the system will exist. I don't know if benefits will be curbed or not in the future, but the best thing to do is go to ssa.gov, okay? That is the Social Security website, and you will set up a record for yourself. And the reason why this is important is the Social Security Administration website is really good in that it allows you to say, what would happen if I kept working at this job for a certain period of time? What would happen if I took less money? And it will figure out your Social Security benefit. There are 3 main ages to think about. 62 is the earliest you can claim Social Security retirement benefits. But doing so is a terrible decision because it will make your benefit go down permanently by 25% for the rest of the years that you collect Social Security. And if you have a non-working spouse who relies on that, that's bad for your spouse as well. The second age is called your full retirement age. It's generally 67 years old if you're born after 1960. And you'll get a bigger benefit for that. And if you wait 3 years longer, you can max out your retirement benefits at age 70. Every year you wait, it's about an 8% increase in your Social Security benefit. And you know the coolest thing about Social Security? It's indexed for inflation. So the longer you wait, the higher the benefit. The higher the benefit, you keep getting that cost of living increase on top of it. It's really valuable.
I didn't know that you take a 25% hit if you retire at 62.
Yeah, at 62.
Okay, so how should people run the numbers to customize it for themselves?
Okay, so instead of rules of thumb, we go to a retirement calculator. If you have a plan through work, a 401k, a 403b, or if you just type in free retirement calculator into your browser, you will have the ability to put some data in. Now, the most important thing to know is how much money you spend today. I know it sounds silly, but you really need to understand the basics, the fun stuff, ongoing obligations. Do you have aging parents? Do you have adult children you're taking care of? That number is the key to your planning. Once you have the expense number, you can start plugging in, hey, what will my future be? And the future will be relying on Social Security, maybe a pension, also the money you save and continue to save, and the contributions. Once you get that number, you now have a better idea of where you stand today, and you can make more informed decisions about your own career and your own expectancy for retirement.
I will be Googling free retirement calculator later today.
I've got
Jill
your back.
Schlesinger, thank you so much.
Sure.
And if you at home have a money-related question for Jill, send an email to her, why don't you? Her email address is askjill@cbs.com, and she could answer it in an upcoming segment.
She's not retiring it. She loves it that much.